Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new Imposters after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're going to be breaking down Season 1, Episode 9, titled Ladies and Gentlemen, the Doctor is Here. We are so excited. We loved this episode, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
And I'm feeling good.
Wow, Neil really got that. Thank you, Neil. All right, guys. Whoa. Feeling good. Me and Ally are just getting a little weird in here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Imposters After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. I'm joined by these two ladies that I love now, by the way. We all just love each other, and we're so sad it's going to be over. So introduce yourselves.
This has to get renewed. It has to get renewed.
I hope so.
So good. My name is Mina. You can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic.
And hey guys, I'm Ally Nasta. You just saw my wicked, weird dance moves. And you can find me on Instagram at Ally Girl and on Twitter at Ally Nasta.
It's funny because whenever I'm with Ally, she'll start dancing first, and then I'll do it, and then I regret it, and I'm like, why did I do that? And I'm like, oh, Ally did it first.
I always awkwardly look at myself like, what are you doing? You do not have moves to, do that with.
Whatever. It feels good to dance,
It does.
so
And just like the song said, we're feeling good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow, someone should make a meme of what you just did. You literally, did you see that, Mina? I think you missed it.
Completely missed it.
Wow, you're going to have to watch that online. That was amazing. She completely flung her ponytail around her head. Anyways, guys, we have the live chat up. Do you have it up, Ally?
No, but I can pull it
Let's
up.
pull up the live chat, and
Let's do it.
we love hearing your thoughts, and we really liked this episode. I mean, I've liked most of them, but the second half, don't you think it's like a long movie?
Yes.
It was so good.
It was amazing. I was literally jumping out of my chair with excitement / being thrilled because it was so. We've been waiting for this kind of answer, and I feel like we got a huge bit of that answered and revealed this episode.
Yeah, me too. What did you think?
There was a part of it where it's where you think you know what's going on, and there's a rat, but then there's someone in the company.
Yeah.
Informant. It was a mind.
It was. Let's start off with Richie, which I think it's so funny that Adam Corson laughs that we call him Richie, because that is his character's personal friends.
Yeah.
It's like Richard, but I don't know. He's Richie. He's Richie to me, right?
Yeah.
I only associate him as Richie.
Yeah. So he is hooking up with some random girl at an inn, and at first I thought, oh, maybe they're going to bring him a love interest of some sort so he can have some kind of a happy ending of the season.
Literally.
But then she started doing something that reminded me of Gabby, who, I'm sorry, we're just a little freaked out by her behavior. And so she was doing that, and I was like, oh my God, all the blondes on here are crazy. Sorry, Ally.
Except for Sally.
What is that supposed to mean?
But somehow Saffron's not crazy. Someone commented.
Sally wasn't crazy. Alice wasn't crazy.
Alice wasn't real.
Yeah, she doesn't exist.
Alice wasn't
Poor
real.
Richie keeps trying to bring her back. She doesn't exist.
But Richie is trying to deal with this in his own way, and he's like a child that is moving on from trauma. It almost feels like. So, except he's an adult and he's hooking up with a girl. And then Maddy comes in, breaks it all up. That was a funny scene.
Yeah.
And they've had a couple scenes one-on-one, but not
Not a ton.
Not a ton. And this was an interesting thing because she pretended to be his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he got, in this episode, he's gotten closure from her several times, but for me, this is the one that stuck, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because she said you weren't in love with Alice, you were in love with who you were when they were together, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it kind of did give him a click. And even kind of as an audience member, you're watching and you're thinking, oh, wow, maybe that is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of are juggling with how was he when he was with Alice, because he seems different, because now he's this huge player. And I think he's just trying to, compensate for those feelings that he's been kind of neglecting to actually feel. He keeps pushing it away. So I think the fact that he's had to be reintroduced to Alice and get that closure, he's kind of relearning himself in a way.
Yeah, he for sure is. And he's kind of realizing that with Max, this random new found friendship. I remember when Max re-met the Three Musketeers a few episodes ago, and I said I wish that we could have seen flashbacks. because it seemed like he was an important person to each character. I'm not sure about Ezra. Ezra, it seems a bit removed, but especially with Jules and Richie, he put, like, he was almost this, like, uncle, father-y figure in each of their lives, and Richie just went back into it. I just wish that I knew what he was to him before, because they were talking about football and stuff. What did you think about their newfound love for each other, you know, especially after Max broke Richie's finger? And
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we saw a couple things this episode where I'm like, don't trust him. Yeah. You know, and I feel like Richie is he's so easy to trust him, which I don't really understand why, you know? I mean, I guess he's kind of still vulnerable and trying to figure out what this whole situation, and he's trying to help out, so he's kind of like, oh, whatever, now we're all on the same team. But at the same time, I feel like he doesn't have a filter of, like, he could be screwing you over right now. You don't know what to expect. Yeah. So I feel like, for me, I still am thinking, I just don't trust him.
I couldn't see the moment as endearing either. Like, even though for a second I was like, this is cute, I was happy that Richie could find someone to confide in, but I just feel like, you know, Max is the type of person where, yeah, it's genuine in the moment, but if it doesn't serve him, he can abandon it easily.
Yeah. I need to throw this out because I feel like I am the only person that notices this. Probably, you know, well, because I like to smoke marijuana sometimes, but Max is always smoking weed. He was about to eat a weed brownie one time. Like, I don't even know what it was that tipped us off. It was a few episodes ago. I think he was smoking, it looked like a cigar, but I think it was a blunt tonight. I think that, and he laid down in the car with Richie. I think he's high all the time.
Really?
I never picked up on that.
I never picked up on that either.
They literally gave us a hint, and I don't remember what it was exactly that told me it was a weed brownie, but I think it had maybe a medicinal thing on it. I'm not making this up. It's real, and I'm always and then he just passed out in that car today. And
or Sam was high while she was watching the episode.
No, I was here, so I was focused. But no, I honestly think that this is somehow, and I don't want it to be that weed makes you not pay attention, then you get murdered. I'm like kind of worried about that, but I think they're trying to play him.
It makes you hyper aware, doesn't it?
I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Super paranoid too, which would not work in Max's benefit whatsoever.
Right, and I just think it's bizarre that they're dropping this. Maybe I'm being nuts, but just want to throw that out there. Let's go on to Jules.
Yes.
She makes me laugh because
she does.
She's so hopelessly romantic and a little bit lonely that everything, it reminds me of like me as a teenager or something. It's like anyone that talks to me that was a boy that I thought was attractive. Oh, like somehow picturing our wedding. And every woman she meets that they have a connection, she literally just drops everything. She knew that Gina was in the FBI.
Yeah. We, like, just so you guys know, when we were watching, we had some trouble remembering if they knew each other's, like, other side. You know what I mean? And then we finally got the reassurance that she did know Gina was in the FBI, but she went along with it anyways. Yeah. But I think that's kind of, it's her endearing character trait, because she has this innocent sense to her, but yet she's still kind of like bad and like edgy. So she's just kind of not well-rounded, but well-rounded.
I get what you're saying.
Sense,
I totally get what you're saying, because she does have those like puppy dog eyes where she like, her face lights up when she gets validation or attention from a woman that she's attracted to, but at the same time she's kind of like this slick person that seems kind of badass,
and it's
a little
like
bit.
Don't mess with her, but yet I think that's her charm, and that's why like Gina was so easily to fall for her. She was like, because she was clearly
was it real between Gina and her?
Oh yes,
like 100%.
I think it was 100% real, because I don't think Gina would have
compromised like her job. Yeah, okay. And in the beginning, I didn't think it was, and then as the episode progressed, when she was trying to hide it, when she introduced her to her aunt, that's when I realized, okay, it was real.
Well, and didn't they say that she was a commoner in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, that's what Gina said when Patrick was meeting with his boss at the FBI and Gina. She right away tried to get Jules off of the list. And that's when I was like, she likes her. She really does like her. So I thought that was, I loved it, actually. I thought it was super sexy with them hooking up in the motel in whatever it was.
So romantic.
It's like, oh, this is where I do my work. Welcome to Bates Motel. But also, I was asking you guys, what is she making? And I know it's some kind of device that, you can hide things, whatever.
It's a cabinet thing.
At first I was like, did she make her wedding dress? I thought she made her wedding dress and sat and sewed it for 3 days.
Project Runway.
Here it
Imposters
is
edition.
for you. Because she's still so drawn to her.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it was a cabinet of some sort where they can easily transfer the money, and it was some sort of artistic piece at the same time. So I think it looks like a fixture when meanwhile it's where the money.
There's 2 compartments
living.
for the briefcases where she can switch it out. That's
Okay.
all it was. I love how she got so annoyed with Maddie not addressing her artistic brilliance. She still needs that validation from Maddie.
Well, I think for a moment, Maddie was saying that in one way it was beautiful and artistic, and then when she saw that Jules was latching onto that, then she kind of said, well, no, I mean it in this professional way.
Yeah.
Okay, it was sad, but I'm glad that maybe Jules is going to get some kind of romance that is real.
Yeah, wherever this
Hopefully.
goes, wherever if whatever happens with FBI versus the doctor team, I think that her and Gina are gonna end up together.
I know. I'm
Not that I'm jumping to predictions too soon, but I think that they
No.
would just they seem like they actually both could work out in the end.
Yeah, I mean they're both, because I thought when they met at the engagement party, or no, I'm sorry, it was Maddie's birthday party a couple weeks ago, that it was Gina that knew she was a lesbian. Jules was targeting her, but now, I'm thinking this might be real.
Definitely.
And I really like that because this is the last episode before the season finale. And we kind of are not going to have time for all of these stories to at least get a happy ending or tie up some way next week. So I think they were trying to give us a little bit of justice in this episode, saying, okay, there could be a future here, there could be a future here.
That's true.
And
Right.
hopefully there'll be a season 2. Let's move on to Ezra.
Ooh, Ezra.
He is just getting more and more surprising.
He's
as the
so
season
turned on by
progresses.
himself at this point.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the hottest thing around.
I know. And okay, so him and Patrick.
Yes.
So interesting, so well acted, I thought, the scene between these two men, because
100%.
they're both hiding how they really feel, but also trying to show how they really feel about the same exact woman.
Yes. But yet different women. Because obviously we've got
yeah,
Ava,
yeah.
and we've got
Yeah.
Saffron, and then we have Maddie.
But now they both call her, if you notice this episode,
Maddie.
they both call her Maddie.
Yeah.
Whereas Jules and Richie are still calling her Cece and Alice.
Yeah, that's true. And they both so they both have totally grasped the concept that those women don't exist. It's now Maddie Johnson that we are dealing with. I think
So
that-
is Ezra still in love with Maddie?
Yes, 100%. I actually was realizing this episode. Obviously, kind of got some twists and turns that happened, but even from the beginning, when they were sitting down together, having that kind of one-on-one, and he was getting interrogated, I really was saying in my head, Ezra is in love with her. He's just trying to keep her safe. I thought what I got about their initial conversation was that whatever he did, he wanted Patrick's intentions to be pure for Maddie to be okay. And, we kind of saw that, and he wanted to make sure that at the end of the day, she was going to be safe. So,
I really... Oh, it's not predictions yet. Never mind.
Well,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
so do you guys think that with Patrick... Because we were on the fence. Did he have feelings for her? Did he not have feelings for her?
He's totally going to redevelop feelings for her.
I think he has this
Yeah.
whole time.
He's trying to push it away because he wants to do his job. And I think when he realizes Maddie is into him, then he feels more vulnerable. It's okay that he has feelings for her. Because I think he doesn't want to feel like an idiot. I can't be in love with someone who's a con. But the more he figures out, no, she's really into him, I feel like it does something to him internally.
Well, I think he was even shocked when he was talking to Ezra, and he was kind of realizing that she actually did love him. It was real for her in the beginning. And so I think him kind of getting that, realizing that was happening, it was kind of a wake-up call for him too, like, oh yeah, I targeted her. I wasn't a target for her until later on.
Well, it annoys me. Well, actually, I'm going to save this because we're talking about Ezra. I have a whole Maddie section before we get into the rehearsal dinner, guys, which I really wish I was at, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so then there's the Ezra and Maddie stuff with the inklet. And he finds it when he's trying to, she knows that he's doing all of this. So it makes sense because he rushed into her apartment. We're all worried she's going to catch him. But this was all part of the plan when he dropped the mic and tapped all of her stuff. And so they did a really good job, I thought, at least to the audience, because the audience thinks they're in on everything at this point.
Right.
But when this happened, we were being conned.
Yeah.
I forgot the name for that. It's like either dramatic irony or like some other type of irony when you figure out that you're being lied to.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like this whole episode just literally, like I said, brought us through so many twists and turns, and you were kind of on one person's side. At one time, I was totally team Patrick and Ezra, and I was like, okay, they're going to figure this out. They're going to get out to the end of it, and we heard the phone call with where she totally was, like, Maddie was just mean and just totally, like, you're like, okay, I totally want Ezra and Patrick to come on top whatever happens. And then you kind of got flipped back, and you realize that, then you're thinking, so is she now noticing that everything she says is going to be heard? I feel like she just knows that. Everything she says, every word that comes out of her mouth is heard from someone, whether it be the doctor, whether it be Max, whether it be Patrick. Like, she's not safe anywhere. And so then it kind of made me think, oh, wow, like, I don't even know what to believe at this point.
Even her adoption story. Oh my god, my heart was like
that
this.
was fake,
like that,
right?
yeah, that whole thing. I believed it. I was so gullible, and then
I'm like, this makes so much sense.
yeah, I was literally like, oh my god, that's so sad.
I-
She's never had a place. That's why she always has a new identity. It makes sense. And then I was like, oh my god, she totally conned me. I felt so stupid afterwards.
And that is what's so cool about this show, because at least me, I mean, I thought I've been on top of everything, because I knew that this show was going to do this to us.
You've been pretty freaking close.
Yeah, I was very prepared, but with this whole thing, I loved it, and we'll get into it at the end, but just, how it kind of, we sit there and laugh and go, you got me.
Yeah.
Which, that makes a good show. And then speaking of one more thing about Patrick and Ezra, he showed him these photos
Yes.
of the doctor, people that have worked for the doctor.
Yeah, and you were very perceptive, Ally. Very, very
Yes.
perceptive.
It was Sally. She's gone, guys.
Sally was one of the women, we think, or there was a man
I don't want to believe
in there
it,
too.
though.
I'm pretty positive it was her because she was wearing a black coat. She had blonde hair. It was up. And, like, we haven't been brought back to the Sally thing. And we keep getting revisited that Max keeps talking about this lady that he let down in a way. And so, and then him talking to Robbie about that story, it just kind of consolidated, or like, it totally was just like, all right, I think that was Sally, and I think that she's
not Lenny
definitely
Cohen?
gone. What?
Lenny Cohen's blonde.
No, but that was
The hair-
the
yeah.
coat and everything. Like,
would
that
make
was her
sense.
from the night that she got taken away from Lenny
Yeah.
Cohen. Like, I'm pretty sure that was her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised Lenny Cohen wasn't in this episode, actually.
Yeah.
I thought we were totally going to see her. Before we get to the rehearsal dinner, let's move on to Maddie. We're just gonna talk about Maddie and Patrick before all this happens. And I think since Ezra told him that Maddie actually had feelings for him, which, I mean, wow, he's working with Maddie, and like but I think maybe that's part of the con is to make him feel guilty.
Probably.
It's too much.
I know. You literally have to. I've said this in, like, I've been doing a couple other shows where I feel like there needs to be a diagram of, like, what's happening, who's loving who might not love who. And just, like, it's so confusing. And especially with this whole spin around, you're like, wait, who is on whose side at this point? But with the whole, like, Patrick loving Maddie thing, I think he really is starting to realize, oh, could I be the person that saves her, and, like, could we actually have a relationship? And I think we saw that, like, at the end of the rehearsal dinner when he offered her to stay. I think that was him kind of, like, lending an arm, saying, maybe we could make this work. But it was her being like, I'm not going to get conned by you, and I'm not going to fall into your trap.
Well, it wouldn't have been a good, staying there that night would have
Yeah.
been a bad situation. And there's this honest moment. I love the scene with them looking out at the view. They both know it's not theirs. They both know now that it's fake. Mm-hmm. Whereas before they would look at it and Patrick would pretend like this is his view that he paid for.
Yeah.
And she was going to be buying into this life. But it still was an intimate moment that... And I mean, yeah, he asked her to stay over. He's weak. He didn't even change his name. For God's sake.
That's true.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He compared what he does to what she does. And then she said, are you really comparing these two? Because they're not the same.
Yeah.
And no, he knows it's not the same.
I feel like he's just, I don't know. I feel like he's breaking down a little bit.
I think
He
so.
is.
I totally, like, I think that it's going to be... Patrick, I thought after that scene, before we kind of heard what had happened after that and we saw Maddie go back to the car, I was totally thinking Maddie and Patrick were going to get together with, like, with the three of, what is their name again?
Musketeers.
Three Musketeers, sorry. And they were all going to go against Max and the doctor because after that phone call where Richie was telling Maddie the story about Sally, I totally thought that they were going to go against Max. So that's still in the back of my head. And I was thinking that in that glimpse of a moment where I saw some sort of like disparity of this relationship, that I thought that Maddie and Patrick would kind of join in forces.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was left at that scene, even though Maddie obviously turned him away, but I think she realized this is all work now.
Why is no one after Richie, even when the phone is tapped? That's what I want to know. No one's after him. No one's like...
Because he doesn't show up. They're like, where is this guy?
Yeah.
He's just, like, having sex with all these blondes. He clearly has a type. He'd probably love you, Ally.
Who, Richie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Richie's smile is just so cute. Someone in the chat just said, it's greatest of these is love, said the FBI team is pretty weak. How is it they don't know everything about Ezra, Richie, and Jules? Which is true. Mm-hmm. Like, they know so much about each certain individual, but, like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna, like, go on Maddie's word of, oh, she's just a commoner, don't touch her. Like, just do some research.
Yeah. Facebook stalking.
And also, I mean, we'll get into this later, but the ever so powerful Oz, I mean the doctor. Like, literally, that's Oz from The Wizard of Oz. That's always how I pictured him. Creepy.
Yeah.
And just, bald with glasses and little, because he's behind the whole
Like Lex
thing.
Luthor.
Yes, exactly. But I kind of think Lex Luthor's, whatever, he's a little sexy. Anyways, but yeah, I just think that with the doctor thing, and no one is doing their jobs very well.
No.
The doctor should have very well known that Patrick, who didn't even change his frickin' name.
Yeah, like, that's kind of, like, step one of being an FBI agent. I don't think you should go by your full name. You need an alias, at least.
Yeah, I thought that for sure his name wasn't Patrick until tonight's episode when they said Patrick and, like, the FBI.
And Sam was like, Patrick, that's actually your real name.
Really? Wow. I mean, bad move number one. But I don't know. I'll get into this predictions, but I think that he could just be on another Maddie Loving. I think she gives them love potions.
I think so, too. Because she makes every single one of them fall, like, madly in love with her.
Yeah, like, ruin their lives, fall in love.
Right?
Okay, let's get into the rehearsal dinner. So at first we have Maddie, Patrick, and was it a pastor? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I was like, the Angel what? I don't know. I'm Jewish. I'm like, I don't know which one he is.
It's like, I want to know your guys' personal story. It'll make it so much easier for me.
Oh, I mean, Maddie was really milking it.
Yeah, she was.
I think that was kind of her way to get some sort of... I'm still...
Closure.
Now that we're talking back about it, the end of the episode has me all confused about my perceptions, but when I was watching this live, I was thinking that was her way of getting, like, answers in a way, kind of like, oh, really? So how did we meet? Kind of like hear my story and hear how I feel about it. I was, he picked me out, and, like, it was kind of her way to kind of get some sort of, like... this is how I feel. Because they haven't really talked about how she feels about the situation, and she didn't really get a chance to, I don't know.
She has no one to confide in. That's the part that sucks.
But you guys, we can't feel bad for her.
I know.
I definitely don't.
She's done this to so many people.
But she has no one. She's, like, literally not a single person
Well, that's what you get when you ruin a bunch of people's lives.
Very true. Like, you don't really have obviously... everybody has a room for redemption, but at this point in the game, she hasn't really earned that point of redemption yet. She's not saying sorry to anybody. Like, the way that we saw her go about this whole Patrick situation was that she is a little still bitter, and she wants to make sure that she gets her, like, comeuppance or whatever.
What? Comeuppance?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh,
Like,
God.
her, like, I'm gonna get you back.
Comeuppance?
Comeuppance.
Wow.
That's in something. It's definitely a word.
It's in your life
No,
now.
it's not.
I'm never gonna let you live that one down.
Comeuppance. Comeuppance.
Stop saying it. It's weird. Okay. So again, at the party, this pastor is completely, again, another rookie move by Patrick. They said, is he with a bureau? Like, what's happening? And he goes, no, he's just a pastor.
Yeah.
Is what he tells them. So, weird. Thought that was totally weird. And, you're still laughing. Is the chat saying anything extremely, like, brilliant?
They're saying that Patrick is a rookie, and that was one awkward rehearsal dinner.
Yes, it definitely was.
Yeah.
And I did love that there was this really sweet, small scene between Ezra and Jules.
Yeah, it was so great. It actually kind of, from the outside, it was like, oh, they could definitely be a couple.
But then when you get in, you're like,
it felt
no.
platonic to me. It was so cute, though. It felt like brother and sister.
Well,
like,
yeah, from
Yeah,
our
definitely.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if, like, even though the FBI knows and, like,
Yeah.
Gina knows,
Yeah.
but I thought that...
It was so sweet.
It was a really great moment. And it kind of takes back, I think, because you had said that you think Richie and Jules are going to eventually get together, and I
Yeah.
said I thought Ezra and Jules had some sort of connection, but this totally nixed that one. Don't think they have a connection. I think it's more so just like friends, brotherly, sisterly.
It's definitely a strong connection.
And I'm
but
kind of
platonic.
glad because I feel like if that did happen with Richie and Jules, it would have been a one-time, oh my God, we got so drunk and we totally messed up. This is so awkward now.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's best to keep that all
they're all
platonic.
siblings, and so many people have said in chat before and weeks before in the comments, you know, his family isn't his family that we've met. It's Richie and Jules. They are his family. That's his family
right,
now.
right.
For a second, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what's
It's like,
happening?
he was adopted. No, actually, he's an alien. That was really funny. That
Yeah,
part.
they just like kept
Yeah.
going on story after story.
Yeah. And then, we have two big parts left. We have Maddie leaving because, well, she hears what Max said to Richie about his love and all of that, and realizes that I think Sally might not be alive.
Yeah.
And I think then she just starts to gear more towards the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
And we see her, we think she's going to run. It's after she leaves the rehearsal dinner and does not spend the night with Patrick.
And you said, this looks like Ezra's neighborhood. You said that.
And
which
then I
is
took
pretty
it
good.
back, and then I was like, never mind,
Yeah.
never
And
mind.
then
But
you're
then
always
you're
right.
right.
You're always right.
You
Because
were right.
my ideas are outrageous, but this show is outrageous as well. And we think she's getting in the car with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's...
I thought he'd be in the backseat,
And then-
like, hello, Maddie.
Yeah, well, no, it's so great that she gets in the car with Ezra because the story that she told Patrick was what literally blew my mind because how she explained how I just am wishing for someone to fall, like I'm waiting for that moment for someone to fall in love with me even though they know everything that they know everything about me. And so that is Ezra. And so as soon as she got in the car, I was like, like Ezra and Mal, they've been in this together. It's been a plan from the beginning that he was going to like this is my thought. Like I totally when I saw this is what happened in my brain.
He's gonna
I was
find
thinking
her
that-
from day one.
Yeah, like it was like as soon as he found out she was Maddie, he accepted that and he was like, I don't care, I love you for you, and then that's how they're on this whole ploy together to get back and get Maddie out of the situation.
Yeah.
Because the only way to get her out of the situation safely is to work with Patrick and make sure that the FBI makes sure she's okay. And that's
Right.
kind of what they've done. And no one else in the situation really matters. I think that at the end of the day, like they obviously do love Jules and Richard, but I'm wondering how much they're gonna save them at the end of the day when it comes down to Maddie and Ezra. Like, will Richard and Jules be saved with
Will
everybody?
Maddie be loyal back to Ezra, though?
Okay, you know what?
That's
I'm
what I
gonna
just-
write. Give me a sec. I'm gonna write something down for our predictions in a few minutes.
Okay, no, I just and
And the funny thing is, Sam also did predict, like from a more marketing standpoint, I think she said this like a couple episodes ago, that Ezra and Maddie are like the ones that are on all the billboards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way that they'd be together on every single billboard the way the show has been marketed, if it doesn't mean they're going to end up together in some way.
One thing that
thought was
I
interesting.
will say, because I've been staring at the billboard now, because I'm like, but what I noticed too is he's a cutout. Like, on the billboard, even though she's holding his hand like that, he's a cutout, so it's basically like, insert new husband kind of thing. That's how I took it. But I do say what you're saying. What you're saying.
Because it could
Gotcha.
be, you know, I don't know. I feel like they could have done it so many different ways with all of them.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But, I don't know. He's the most important.
By far.
Maddie's going to prioritize getting out of this whole doctor situation more than she'll prioritize love or anything else, I think.
Even Ezra, possibly.
Yes,
The
for sure.
greatest of these is love in the chat said Maddie is playing Ezra.
Yeah.
So do you think Maddie's playing Ezra?
I could see that happening, and then him being like, "Oh, I know, I'm still part of this. It's this back," which is a very annoying game if we're watching this. Oh, who's cunning who?
Yeah.
Who loves who? I want them to establish something, hopefully by the end of the season, and I really hope there's a second season.
Yeah.
I mean, if Maddie's capable of doing all of that once, she's capable of doing it again. But if she does want a second chance and wants a chance to escape, maybe she will become a different person and have Ezra's back. Or maybe things are so bad for her that she knows she has no way out, and she's going to prioritize Ezra knowing that her life has come to an end, or that there's no way out for her. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the next
She
episode.
even said this episode, but it was, now that we're looking back on it, when they were being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I can't really take that into account. Hold on, I put it in all caps in my notes. There we are. She tells him to not know her. She isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So, I could kind of see that coming into play. But the last thing that we figure out before we get into predictions is that the Three Musketeers and Maddie and Max are now officially a real established team that's going against the FBI.
Yeah, but it confuses me because I feel like the phone call with the doctor and Max where he said, I'm your eyes and ears. I feel like that was a sign to us to be like, Max is not a good guy. Max is only on the doctor's side. He's not on anybody else's. He doesn't care. And I feel like we saw that loyalty with the whole Sally situation. So I feel like that was maybe a tease as to whose side he's actually on. And he's just getting the inside scoop with the Three Musketeers and with Maddie and with everybody. He's on the know of everything because he's their eyes and ears.
Because he prioritizes his own life that he'd rather...
when he was on the phone, no one else heard that.
Yeah, the doctor is scary just because we don't know a lot about him, too. Don't you find that interesting? The less you know about a character, the more, frightening or, they become just because you don't have that understanding of them yet.
Well, that scene really confused me. I was just... completely they lost me there.
Wait, why? I didn't feel like that scene was that confusing when
we thought we were seeing the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the very end scene when he's wearing the prosthetics?
Yes.
When Max is wearing the bald head and the mustache. That's why he asked for all those things, all the supplies. So I think he's going to turn himself in as the doctor.
But there wasn't a freaking video camera, I don't think. I think they just bugged them, but I guess,
sacrifice himself.
He could. I'm not sure. But Maddie seemed to know this episode that he got Sally killed.
Yeah.
So I thought she was diverging from him.
Same.
But then in the end, we see them all together, but I feel like there might be another subgroup that breaks off from this, which is leaving Max out, and then it's Maddie and the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. On that note, let's get into some
But
predictions.
Richie might still be on Max's side because of the bond they have.
Oh, he's weak.
Yeah.
Hot, but-
Predictions.
Yes.
Predicciones.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, I'm going for it. So I think based off of, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't watch the end of the episode only because it confused me so much, and all the predictions I was cultivating in my brain before the end of this episode happened are kind of all backfired. So I'm gonna go with, I think that Patrick, Maddie, the Three Musketeers, and Ezra are gonna somehow all team up, and it's gonna be Max against them and them against Max. Because I think at the end of the day, his loyalty lies with the doctor, because I think he might secretly be getting a larger cut of all these like, of everything that's been going on, I think that Max somehow is getting more out of it than anybody else, and so that's kind of their situation. With the whole Maddie versus Ezra thing, now that everybody's been saying that Maddie is conning Ezra, I just, like, don't even know what to feel. But I think at the end of the day, if it would be anybody being together, it's going to be Ezra and it's going to be Maddie together. And I think that maybe, or, I don't know. I'm just going to stop there.
I feel like her
because I could go on for hours.
I feel like she's struggling right now because I feel like Maddie's feelings for Patrick were way stronger than they were for Ezra, just because of his personality. And then the minute she figured out she was being conned and set up, it really messed with her psychologically. And now Ezra is more comforting and comfortable for her, but I think she's still battling what she knows to be her love for Patrick.
But the only reason, though, she thinks that is because he's the first person that conned her and she didn't con, that she let her guards down with.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, just, I do think that they really like each other.
Yeah.
But I also think this is the first person she's been conned by, so she's kind of messed up over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I really do think that Patrick is, like, his position with the FBI could be jeopardized because he might prioritize Maddie or have, like, some sort of weakness or Achilles heel where he gives in a little bit because he doesn't want to see anything bad happen to her, because he probably does have a little bit of love for her despite everything. Probably a little bit of guilt as well, and he is a rookie from what we've all, like, assumed that
maybe he'll join the team now.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to go that far, but I do think he might, help her a little too much. And I think, like, do you think that what Jules did in terms of sleeping with Gina is going to complicate anything?
I don't think so. I think there's too many big storylines. But
it's such a minor thing that it could somehow create a ripple effect. That's what I'm saying.
I think it will help. Actually,
it'll help.
Yeah,
because she'll have someone on the inside that's on her side.
Yeah, and Jules will be like, "We just got married, like, so it's awesome. Don't worry, this bitch has got my back. Like, she's on the inside. Like, don't worry, guys, we got this. I locked it down."
What about Richie though? I feel like Richie is in a situation where he's not the brightest bulb. I think.
But he is.
He is. He's so bright and smiley.
His smile is
so
bright.
Just like,
yeah, but I feel like he could get easily conned or, like, be the victim or the scapegoat for something that goes down, and I don't want to see that happen.
He needs to take more conning classes, that's for sure. Before I'll let him go to the mall by himself, which is what my parents, it's like, before I let you go to the mall by yourself, I need you to know the safety precautions you need to take. And I just feel like Richie is not ready to go on to the, into the conning world on his own.
He's too good.
He's
and
just
too kind of like
a little oblivious. Okay,
Lenny Cohen, is she gonna come back or not? How does
she's Uma Thurman. I mean,
how does Uma Thurman just make 2 appearances and that's it?
Well, someone commented too, I think last week, that she had a smaller-ish role in Smash. I loved Smash, and I thought her role was pretty significant though in that she sang, she did all these things. And yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I think she has to be back in the finale. And I mean, maybe she has some prosthetic on and she's the doctor with like, oh God, I don't even know.
Doctor's wife. Who knows?
Sam, we need your predictions.
Okay, so I see in this last episode next week there being some kind of postcard written to everybody in, like, the last moments, right?
Okay.
And somebody is on a beach. I'm getting so specific and I'm probably going to be totally wrong. But someone's on a beach, probably Maddie and Ezra.
Oh.
And they kind of, like, write everybody to tell them they're okay and, like, send them a bunch of money or something.
Did we see that in the preview?
No, I made it up in my brain.
She's going off on a whim. I mean, it's a season finale. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I think that there is possibly going to be a love triangle in this last episode with what Maddie feels for Patrick and Ezra. Exactly. And I think at the end there will be a huge twist and cliffhanger regarding Maddie and Ezra. I'm hoping that it's them together conning the world, but we're going to need to figure out how to trust Maddie more.
Yeah, I agree.
In the next 45 minutes of programming.
Any other minor characters from the past, like Gabby coming back in the last episode, or no?
Maybe, because what was her purpose?
Yeah, they kind of introduced her, and then now what?
I mean, maybe
they brought her in again
just for Ezra to realize that this isn't the life that he wants.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hope they're saving it for season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Adam and Gabby will Sorry, I'm just saying
God.
his real name, but Adam and Gabby, they're like, we actually got married.
Oh my
We own
gosh.
family business. Maybe that'll be like something like
That would
sprinkled
be
in there.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see the family again for sure. You guys,
They're on vacation though, the mom and dad.
did they leave already?
I'm pretty sure at this point.
I don't know. Well, I do think and hope we will see Josh again.
Yes.
On that note, you all, thank you so much for tuning in. We're so excited next week for the finale. We love you all. Where can everyone find you on social media one last time?
You can find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl.
And you can find me on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic. And I just want to note that we're having the HBO Girls finale on Sunday coming up, last episode. It's going to be very exciting.
Oh, that is very exciting. You can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. You guys can also see me on Riverdale at the Originals. On the Originals, and please, there's an app called Anchor. You can download it for free or view it online for free. I have my own network on there, or my own channel, and it's called Binge Watchers United. I give you new shows to binge every single day. So please check it out, and we'll see you next week.
See ya!
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.